Hello everyone, this is Ahmed Hamdi, iCourses founder and instructor. And iCourses is the first and the only online academy for ophthalmic education that is highly specialized in the UK fellowship exams, in all kinds of exams from basic to advanced at all levels in all stages. So many of us have heard about the recent changes that happened to the UK fellowship exams, and these changes made us a lot confused. Which exam that we should choose and which route that we should follow. And here I am with you to discuss these recent changes and to give you my advice about which exam that you should choose based on the current scenario and based on your specific condition or based on your specific stage at which level you are now. So let's get started. This lecture I called it the UK Fellowship Exams Blueprint. And by blueprint, I mean that it is a guide for you. This is like a guide that you can use based on my experience, so that to know which one you should choose or which fellowship exam to choose based on the current condition. First of all, for those who have no idea about what are the UK fellowship exams in ophthalmology, I will just brief you about what are these kinds of fellowship exams in just one slide, so we won't take so much time. And also I will give you a hint about what is the nature of these exams and what is the cost of these exams, because as you know, cost is an issue and you should have an informed decision about the cost of each fellowship exam, because this is like a long journey. You will spend a lot of time and effort and money through this journey, so you have to prepare it well and plan for it well, and good planning will make you will give you the best results as you proceed through these fellowship exams. So these fellowship exams are basically 4 exams. We have the International Council of Ophthalmology Fellowship, the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh Fellowship, the Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow Fellowship, and finally the Royal College of Ophthalmologists Fellowship. So what are the different parts of each one of these exams, and what is the nature and the cost of each exam? First of all, the ICO is consisting of 4 exams. The ICO Visual Sciences, which was previously called the ICO Basic Sciences, this is a written MCQ exam. And the ICO Optics and Refraction exam, which is also an MCQ exam. And then the ICO Clinical, which is also a clinical MCQ exam. And finally, the ICO Advanced 115, which is also a paper-based MCQ exam. Let's now discuss the fees. What are the fees of the ICO exams? ICO exams are basically targeting the ophthalmologists from developing countries. However, their fees are a little bit higher than what an ophthalmologist from a developing country would expect. So not only that, but also the fees are inconsistent, meaning that it will be different according to what is your country and where are you living. So let's review these details or these fees. The ICO exams fees are announced on their website in Swiss franc, but to make it easier for you, I will just present you the fees in US dollars. And you will have, these fees are basically the fees in Egypt, but these, as I told you, the fees will be different according to your country. So you have to refer to the ICO website for the specific fees for your country. The ICO Visual Science will cost around $500 US. The ICO Optics will cost $425. If you sit for both the exams together, both of them will cost around $680. The ICO Clinical will cost $735. And finally, the ICO Advanced will cost $680. Okay, what about the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh exam? So what are these exams? The Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh exams had some sort of collaboration with the ICO. So according to this collaboration, the Part A and Part B of the FRCS Edinburgh were cancelled and they were replaced by the ICO exams. However, the recent changes that this collaboration is now off, or it has ended, and this means that the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh will return to their native exams for Part A and Part B. So for Part A, it will be what we know about these exams now, that the Part A will be a basic sciences and optics, and it will be a paper exam or written based exam, and mostly it will be an MCQ as well. The Part B clinical, which used to be an oral and the clinical and the refraction exam, it will return back, but it will be in a written format. So it will be just a written exam. And finally, the Part C exam, which will be a written and Viva and OSCE exam. And for those who don't know what is Viva and OSCE, this is just a terms to describe oral and the clinical exams. So what about the cost? Since the Part A and Part B have been officially announced, but no more details have been announced yet about them, so we still don't know what are the real costs for them. So this will be announced in the early 2022. However, for Part C, the Part C will cost around 1,200 sterling pounds. So this will be almost like, it will be the average cost for this exam, and this will be the same for FRCS Glasgow and FRC of London as well. So let's move now to the Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow. And the Part 1 for Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow, it is a basic sciences and optics exam, and it will and it is an MCQ exam. So the Part 2 will be paper based as well, so it will cover it has two parts, a clinical MCQ part and a problem solving part, which is like an essay exam. The third part will be the final Viva and OSCE, which will be an oral and the clinical exam. So what about the cost? The Part 1 will cost around 350 sterling pounds. For Part 2, if you are just sitting for the problem solving exam alone, then this part will cost around 450 sterling pound, while both parts for the clinical MCQs and the problem solving can be sat together in the same day for 795 sterling pounds. For the third part, it will cost around 1,200 sterling pounds, and this is like the average cost. For the Royal College of Ophthalmologists, it also has a Part 1, which is basic sciences and optics. It is an MCQ exam, and the refraction certificate, which is a unique exam for the FRC of London. And then after passing the refraction certificate, then you are eligible to sit for Part 2, which consists of two parts, the written part and the Viva and OSCE part. About the cost of the Royal College of Ophthalmologists exams, so the Part 1 basic sciences and optics will cost 615 sterling pounds, refraction certificate will cost 725 sterling pounds, Part 2 written exam will cost 450 sterling pounds, and finally the Part 2 Viva and OSCE exam will cost 700 sterling pounds. Okay, so this is a quick review about the different UK fellowship exams, and as you can see, they are numerous, which makes the ophthalmologist confused about which exam to choose and what are the recent changes that happened to these exams. So in order not to make this lecture quick or long, you can refer to the Road to UK Fellowship Exams lecture, which is already present in the YouTube. This lecture I made in the December 2020, so that it will summarize the exams, the study resources, and the structure of each exam till December 2020. However, in 2021, a lot of changes happened, which make us obliged to make a new lecture or a new orientation about what are these recent changes, because these recent changes are striking and they will affect your choice tremendously. So the first one will be the International Council of Ophthalmology, which has the most prominent changes that happened in the 2021. So what are these changes? Starting from June 2021, the collaboration between the FRCS Edinburgh and the ICO has ended, unfortunately. And what are the consequences of this end of collaboration? This is what will be discussed in the next slide. The second change is that it will be online application. Finally, the ICO decided to cope up with the changes that happened to UK fellowship exams in different exams, so they decided to make an online application for their exams. This is what was not the case in the past. So in the past you used to apply manually, like you are just applying with your documents and your certificates to the coordinator in your country. And so now everything is automated online. You can now fill in your data online and apply with your certificates online as well. The unfortunate changes that happened also in the ICO exams, that there will be no more coordinator registration. So the coordinator registration has this value of have discounted fees for the ICO exams, but unfortunately this is no longer existing. And one of the consequences of end of collaboration between the ICO and the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, that there will be no more advanced 180 exam. This exam has shown up for the first time after in the era of collaboration between 2019 and June 2021, so that it can exempt you from the Part C or from the written part of Part C of Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. And since the collaboration is ended now, so this exam is no longer present in the context of the ICO exams. So what are the changes now that happened to the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh exams? Again, it will be the most striking will be the end of collaboration with the ICO, and we will discuss this in the next slide. And based on this end of the collaboration, now the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh has their own native exams, the same way as it was in the past. So these exams are new written exams for Part A and Part B, which will qualify for the membership of Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. It was also announced by the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh that it will recognize some ICO exams after the end of collaboration. However, what are these exams and which step from the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh will they exempt you from? Nobody knows, and it hasn't been released yet. Also, good news about the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, that it will cause or will do international expansion for the Part C. They will establish new centers, new exam centers in different countries of the world. The current exam centers for the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh are in India and in the UK itself. And since one of the consequences of the collaboration, that there will be a high number of candidates who already cleared the ICO exams and now need to clear the Part C exams for the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. And here the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh are in need for a lot of exam centers, and this is what we expect in the near future. So what are the recent changes that happened to the Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow? Well, the good news about the Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow exams is that it is usually stable, that this is the route which is almost doesn't undergo a lot of changes in the past years, and it is like a reliable and stable route. So the only changes that happened, that due to the COVID-19 crisis, the Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow has decided to conduct their exams online. So Part 1 and Part 2 and Part 3 now can be conducted online, which will be like a good thing, because it will cut down the travel costs that you need to set for Part 3 and also Part 2, because it's only available in only certain countries. But since now that they are online, you can now do it at the comfort from your home, and now it will be a very good value for your money. Finally, the Royal College of Ophthalmologists exams. So what are the changes that happened to the Royal College of Ophthalmologists exams? The first of all, that there will be online exams for Part A and written and the Viva part for Part B. So you can conduct them online, and also these changes have happened due to the COVID-19 crisis. So this will be also a very good news for those who have been struggling with the travel costs, or they have the considered the travel costs. So this will also be absent now. Also, we said in the previous lecture of the Road to UK Ophthalmology exams that there will be no more CRQ exam for Part A, and this is like an essay exam that was used to be conducted in the previous years, but it is no longer existing, and it is now replaced with the MCQ exam. For Part B, a recent change, a very recent update, which is announced this month in July 2021, that the Part B now can be set for before the refraction certificate. In the past, you should have, or you should start with the Part A, and then then the refraction certificate, then finally Part B. This was the normal consequence. However, now this is a change, meaning that you can start by first with the Part A, and then you can choose whether to exam or to sit for the refraction certificate, or to sit for the Part B. So it is based on your choice. And when you finish or when you clear one, you have to clear the other in order to be eligible for the certificate of the FRC of London. Also, the good news about the Royal College of Surgeons or Royal College of Ophthalmologists of London, that it will show international expansion of the refraction certificate and the Part B. So it will be conducted in other countries, like in Egypt, like in Trinidad and Tobago, like other countries you can refer to in the website of the Royal College of Ophthalmologists. Okay, so these are the recent changes that happened in the different UK fellowship exams, and now let's talk about what is your next step. Meaning that if you could be in either one of two conditions. You can be just an ophthalmologist who didn't start any exams yet, and so you need to know what is your exam of choice, or which exam that you should select based on your current condition or your current scenario. And you may already sit for some exams, like you may already cleared or passed some exams, and you need to know what will be your next step. So let's first start with the ICO, or let's start with the ICO exams. So in order to know what will be your next step, let's first discuss what was the collaboration between the ICO and the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, and after that you will know how does the end of collaboration will affect you. So basically the collaboration between the ICO and the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh has been through important stages or important time periods that you should be considering before considering your situation. First, it is before 2019. This is has a specific conditions. And from 2019 to June 2021, it will also have some specific conditions. And after June 2021, it will be the end, which is the date of end of collaboration. So what happens if you cleared the ICO exams before 2019? If you cleared the ICO exams before 2019, like if you cleared the ICO basic and optics, and then you cleared the ICO clinical, and also passed the ICO Advanced 115, in the past you will be eligible for the FICO exam, FICO fellowship, or you are now entitled a fellow for the International Council of Ophthalmology. However, after the collaboration, it will give you the virtue or the advantage of also having the member of Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. And if you was one of the, or if you were one of the lucky ophthalmologists who have been applied for membership as soon as this collaboration have been announced, then you should have been eligible for GMC registration. However, later on the GMC didn't recognize the new MRCS Edinburgh on its new format because it doesn't contain any clinical or oral exams. So those who have already have cleared the ICO exams in 2000 before 2019 will have the membership, but they will not be eligible for GMC registration or work in the UK. However, they can still apply for the Part C Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. They can be, and if they pass the Part C, then they will be eligible for GMC registration. But what happens if they started before 2019 but didn't complete all the ICO exams before 2019? Like if they started before 2019 for ICO Basic and Optics, then completed the ICO Clinical in 2019 till June 2021, and also complete the Advanced 115 till from 2019 till June 2021. Then according to the collaboration, they will be also eligible to apply for membership of Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, but they will not be eligible for GMC registration. However, they can apply for the Part C Edinburgh. And based on the rules of collaboration, there was a new exam that was announced by the ICO. It was called the ICO Advanced 180. And this exam will exempt you specifically from the written part of the FRCS Edinburgh, so you can apply directly to the FRCS Edinburgh Viva and OSCE exam. And after you clear them, you will be eligible for GMC registration. But what happens if you still didn't clear all ICO exams, the basic, the optics, the clinical, the advanced, till June 2021? Here is the problem. Because in June 2021, the collaboration has been terminated between the ICO and the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, and since then, if you are just has to redo or reset any exam like ICO Basic and Optics, like the clinical, like the ICO Advanced, you will not be eligible for the membership, and consequently you will not be eligible for the GMC registration, and so your route with or your journey with the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh is no longer existing, and it has been terminated, and you should think of other alternative to if you are seeking the FRCS. So what is the consequences if you started so in the previous slide we discussed if you started before 2019, but what happens if you started from 2019 till June 2021? So at that time, the ICO Basic Sciences, it is now called the ICO Visual Sciences and Optics, and if you cleared it and cleared the ICO Clinical, you will be eligible for membership of Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. If you just cleared these exams, only these two exams between 2019 and June 2021. However, also if you want to complete the Advanced 180, you will be exempted from the written part of the FRCS Edinburgh, the Viva and OSCE exam, and if you cleared this exam, you will be eligible for GMC registration. However, if you still didn't complete all exams in the era between 2019 and June 2021, and you still have some exams left, and you need to do them after June 2021. So if you are just having ICO Clinical left or the Advanced 115 left, so there is no more Advanced 180 after June 2021. So if you have any exams left and you already cleared them, you will have the title FICO, or the Fellow of the International Council of Ophthalmology, but you will not be eligible for the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh membership, unfortunately. And again, your journey with the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh is terminated, and you should think of other alternatives. So based on these changes and the end of collaboration, what will be your next step if you already passed some exam like Basic Sciences or Optics or Clinical or Advanced 115? How would you think, and what will be your next move? So if you already cleared the ICO Visual Sciences and Optics, then your next step will be the ICO Clinical. However, this ICO clinical will be after the end of collaboration, so you don't expect that this ICO clinical will entitle you with membership of Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, and now you are no longer or the route with the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh is now terminated for you. So you may think of other alternatives. So what should I do if I wanted to have FRCS? You can apply for the ICO clinical and then be exempted from the Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow MCQ exams, so that you will be applying for the problem solving exam directly. Or instead of applying for the ICO clinical, you can apply for the FRCS Glasgow Part 2, which will be a clinical and the ICO and clinical exam, the clinical MCQ exam, and the problem solving part. It's worth mentioning that it is almost, if you are applying for the ICO clinical alone, the cost will be higher than if you are applying for the FRCS Glasgow 2 Part 2 as a whole exam. So when you refer back to the prices or the fees slide, you will find that the ICO clinical exam, like around $700, which sometimes jump to $1,000 in some countries, while the FRCS Glasgow 2 exams will be the clinical MCQ and the problem solving, and it will be around 800 sterling pounds. So cost is an issue, as I told you. So you should if the cost is an issue for you, or you may think that you should apply for the FRCS Glasgow Part 2 instead of applying for the ICO clinical. So but as I will mention, or as I'm telling you, what the approach or the choice of exam is based on three things: the cost, the time, and the effort. You always want the exam that will save your time, save your money, save your effort. However, not all exams will do the same. So there may be a route which you may be saving your time, and another route which will be saving your money. So for example, ICO clinical will save your time and will save your effort, because it is like an easy exam. It has a lot of question banks, so that a lot of past papers, a lot of repetitions. So passing the ICO clinical is relatively easier than passing the clinical MCQ part of the FRCS Glasgow. However, this is not the most cost friendly, because it will, as I told you, the cost will be higher. On the other hand, the FRCS Glasgow Part 2, it will be much better than applying for ICO clinical and then applying for the FRCS problem solving. However, it will save your time, or sorry, it will save your money, but it will not save your time or effort, because actually it is risky, because in the FRCS Glasgow Part 2, when you apply for it, and you have to pass the two parts of it, you have to pass the problem solving and the clinical MCQ, and the problem solving consists of ophthalmology questions, case scenarios, and also an emergency medicine scenario. So passing the emergency medicine scenario is a must for passing the problem solving and for passing the whole exam. So you should consider this, because you need to allocate more time or dedicate yourself more if you are applying for the FRCS Glasgow Part 2. So are there any options? Is there any other cross pathway to the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh? Well, still the exams are not announced yet, but it could be that the ICO Visual Sciences and Optics will make a cross pathway to the FRCS Part B, which is the clinical part. So the ICO Visual Sciences and Optics may exempt you from the Part A of the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. However, what about if you have the clinical ICO exam? Because if you have the ICO clinical in the past, before the collaboration, then you will be eligible, meaning that the Royal College of the ICO exams or the Part A Basic Sciences and Optics of the ICO didn't exempt from the Part A of the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh in the past. So it could be that they, or the most probably that it will not exempt from them in the future. However, however, you may think, okay, but they may feel guilty because of the end of the collaboration, and they will exempt us from the part A. But please reconsider that they already announced a new exam, already announced their part A basic and optics, and they want their exams to be running and to be popular. So it is unlikely that they will just give you a way to jump over this exam, or to make a like turn around this exam. So what I think that you should do, for if you already have the ICO Visual Sciences and Optics, you should apply for the ICO Clinical, or apply for the ICO Clinical or the FRCS Glasgow Part 2 directly. So this will depend on you. How much time do you have? If you are like 2 or 3 hours per day person who can study only 2 to 3 hours, or you are like a 6 to 8 hours day person who can study 6 to 8 hours. So if you are a hard worker, then you can start to you can go for the FRCS Glasgow Part 2 directly. So apply for the clinical and the problem solving exam and dedicate yourself to pass them in one shot. However, if you are if you are already familiar with the ICO exams, and you know that there are a lot of MCQ banks for the ICO exams, and you are comfortable with that, and you are not that hard worker, so you want an exam that has a lot of repetition and has a relatively easier than the FRCS Glasgow, and then you should consider the ICO Clinical, and then after passing it, apply for the FRCS problem solving. So this will be the most secure or the most safe pathway, but it will not be the most time it will not be the most time saving or the most cost saving. Okay, if you cleared the ICO Clinical, then your situation will depend on if you are eligible for the membership of Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh or not. In other words, if you are eligible based on the criteria that we already discussed, then your only route will be, or the best route for you, is to just complete your pathway with the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh by applying for their Part C exam. However, if based on the previous criteria you are not eligible for membership, then the only way to make use of your ICO Clinical exam is to apply for the problem solving exam by the FRCS Glasgow. The same thing applies for the Advanced 115, meaning that if you already applied for if you are already passed the Advanced 115, but you are not eligible for if you are eligible for the membership, then you can apply for the Part C Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. However, if you are not eligible for membership, then you should apply for the Advanced one for the problem solving exam. And actually, you are not applying with the problem solving by the Advanced 115. You are applying with the ICO Clinical, because there is some misconcept that the Advanced 115 will exempt you from the problem solving exam, which is not true. You are this ICO Advanced 115 now has no use, has no value. In terms of FRCS. So you should now apply for the FRCS problem solving, because your journey with the ICO, with the Edinburgh exams is no longer existing. As if you want to apply for the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, then you have to start all over again. So then you should consider the FRCS problem solving. If you already have the Advanced 180, if you are one of the lucky candidates who already cleared all ICO exams before June 2021, then you are eligible for the FRCS Edinburgh Viva and OSCE exam. This will be the only exam you have left in order to complete the FRCS and be eligible for GMC registration. What about the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh exam? The Part A Basic and Optics If you passed it, it will be announced next year. So they told that it will be announced the early June, early 2022. And if you already passed it, the normal consequence that you will be eligible for Part B. However, in the past, the Part A of Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh exam was exempting from the Part 1 Basic Sciences and Optics of Glasgow. So I think that they will return this cross pathway, or this cross pathway will be valid again. So maybe that when you pass the Part A Basic Sciences and Optics, then you will be eligible to apply for Part 2 Problem Solving. And in my opinion, I believe that this will be a better way. So because the FRCS Glasgow is the most reliable and most easy exams, and the Viva and OSCE part of the Part 3 of Glasgow is much easier than Part C of Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. So it is worth considering that you shift from the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh to the Glasgow, as whenever you have an opportunity, whenever there is a chance, try to catch the FRCS Glasgow, because the FRCS Part C Edinburgh I think that it will be the hardest between the whole 3 fellowship exams. So the only advantage of it that the collaboration between the ICO and the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. Since this collaboration is no longer existing, there is no good reason to complete the FRCS Edinburgh as long as you have other better alternatives. So this is just a speculation. It may be right, may be wrong. We still have to see next year. And also there is another point, a good point to consider. These exams, the Part A and the Part B clinical exams, will be new exams. As much as you can, try to avoid new exams, because we don't have past candidates experience. We don't have much information about the exams. So you don't want to sacrifice your money for any kind of surprises that you may find in the exam. Especially, it is well known from the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh that their exams are not the easiest. Because let me tell you that I already in 2012, I think, yeah, 2012, like 10 years ago, I already sat for both of them together. The Part A of Basic Sciences and Optics, the older one, and the ICO Basic Sciences and Optics. Both I cleared both in the same time in the same sitting. And there is a huge difference between both exams. The ICO Basic Sciences and Optics, it was much easier, a lot easier than the ICO Part A Basic Sciences and Optics of the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. So if you can avoid these exams, it will be good. The only value now for these exams is to be a shortcut for other exams. So specifically for the FRCS Glasgow. Is the Part B clinical will exempt from the Part 2 clinical MCQ problem solving? Absolutely no, because it will be different format. So it will not, the only thing that you can do after Part B clinical, it will be the FRCS Part C. If you cleared the FRCS Part C, or if you cleared the Part B, then you will have the membership of Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. But as the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh announced, it will not make you, you will have the membership, but you will not be able to apply with GMC registration. This is unlike the old scenario, because before the collaboration it was an oral and the clinical exam, and after membership you can apply for GMC registration. But now this is not the case, because Part A and Part B are written exams, so you can only apply for membership, but it will not be valuable for GMC registration. You still have to apply for Part C FRCS Edinburgh. If you apply for the FRCS Edinburgh, which is an extensive exam, it is written, Viva and OSCE exam, then you will be eligible for GMC registration through the Fellowship of Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh. Now we come to the most reliable and most stable pathway, which is the Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow. If you already passed Part 1 Basic Sciences and Optics, then you have two options. Either to apply for the FRCS Glasgow Part 2 directly with all its precautions that we discussed, or you can choose the safer option to apply for the ICO clinical, and then when you pass it, apply for the problem solving. If you already have part 2 MCQ, clinical MCQ and problem solving, the best thing now for you will be the FRCS part 3. And the FRCS Glasgow part 3 is considered the easiest one among all fellowship exams. So please consider this once and twice, that you may find that there are some exams that are easier, like maybe you are considering part A Edinburgh or part B Edinburgh. You may think that it could be easier than problem solving and the clinical MCQ, but always think of the last step in your pathway, which will be the part 3. The part 3 Glasgow will be the easiest. Despite the emergency medicine station, it remains the easiest among other options. So whenever you have an opportunity to apply for the FRCS Glasgow, it will be the best for you. It will give you the GMC registration, it will make you eligible for working in the UK, and it will be the easiest, has the most abundant test centers among the world. So it will be the best, and it will be the best in all options. And also it is online now, so which is not the case for the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh exam. And also for the Royal College of Surgeons, Royal College of Ophthalmologists of London, there are some parts which are conducted online, but not the whole exam as in the Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow. Finally, if you have the Royal College of Ophthalmologists, the Part 1 Basic Sciences and Optics, this will be like a common hub. This is for any Part 2 exam. You can if you have this part 1, you are eligible for part 2 Glasgow, you are eligible for part B Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, and I expect that this will happen. This will be one of the collaborations that may happen between the Royal College of Ophthalmologists and the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, because this is also was the case in the past. In the past, before the collaboration, the Royal College of Ophthalmologists exam was exempting from the Part 1 or Part A of the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh exam. So this collaboration may return, and then you can apply for Part 1 to be eligible for Part B Edinburgh. Also, you can apply for as I told you, the recent updates that you can apply for the refraction certificate, or you can apply for the FRC of Part 2. So you don't have to apply for the refraction certificate first. You can just start with the Part 2 written on Viva and OSCE, and after you pass them, you will be eligible for the refraction certificate, and then you have the FRC of. So if you want one solution for everything, if you want to pass an exam that will open the opportunities for any other exams should any changes happen in the future, then it should be the Part 1 Basic Science and Optics. So this will be it will be the most convenient or the most fast pathway, because it will save your time, but it will not save your effort very much, because this exam is extensive, and it will be the toughest among other basic sciences and optics exam. So you should consider if you are really in need for it. The refraction certificate will not make, if you have already the refraction certificate, this will make you eligible for the FRC of Part 2. Part 2 written exam, after you pass it, you will be eligible for the Viva and OSCE, and if you pass the Viva and OSCE, you will be eligible for the FRC of London, which will give you now the GMC registration. This is one of the recent changes also, but it was not very recent. I already discussed it in the Road to UK Ophthalmology exam. So this is if you already passed one stage of an exam, and you need to know what will be the best next move, or what will be the best option to follow after your exam. But what happens if you are already in the start of your career, or if you already have no idea about the ICO, the UK fellowship exams, and you want to start from the start? So this will be depend on your timeline. So what is your timeline? It is your timeline as an ophthalmologist in your career, meaning that you start as a house officer with zero experience. Then as you proceed forward in your career, you are becoming a resident, you are now building your knowledge through 4 or 5 years. Then you are becoming a specialist or whatever, a middle grade job that you call it in your country, or middle grade rank or middle grade title that you have in your country. Then with more experience you are becoming a consultant. So the choice of the suitable fellowship exams differ according to at what stage at your ophthalmology career. For example, I will, and also it will be different according to what is your goal from this fellowship exam. So, for example, I divide it into 2 main goals. First goal, if you want to go abroad, mainly to the UK, if you want to travel to the UK to practice ophthalmology in the UK, or if you want a certificate or a title that you can use in your country, that makes if FRCS or FRC has a value in your country, make you eligible for practicing ophthalmology. It will also, if it is you want to travel to certain other countries like Gulf countries that will recognize the FRCS and the FRC of. Or if you just want to broaden your mind, increase your skills, have a well-recognized, reputable international certificate, so this will be the option number 2. So we have 2 options. Everyone will have a specific choice, in my opinion, depending on what you need from the FRCS or the FRC of. And also I further subdivided, if you want to go to the UK and to travel and to practice there, into 2 tracks. Let's say it will be the fast track and the best or the most convenient track. So the best track doesn't have always to be, or the fast track doesn't have always to be the best or the money saving or the effort saving, but it will be only time saving. So for the fast track, it is just a matter of time. Okay, for the house officer, what will be the fastest way to travel to the UK? It will be the PLAB exam. This will, for your surprise, it will not be an ophthalmology postgraduate qualification, because a house officer have no experience, and he will the UK fellowship exams requires a lot of experience actually to pass. So if you are in a hurry, or if you want to pass the exams that will make you eligible for GMC registration as fast as possible, then you should consider the PLAB. However, this is not without disadvantages, because you don't have experience, and when you apply for UK posts or UK jobs, you will find that the lack of experience will be a downside on your application, because you already cut the halfway by GMC registration. But for applying for jobs, they usually need experience, and if another candidate with more experience than you apply, then definitely he will be chosen over you. If you want to start, if you are not very comfortable with studying a PLAB and studying for non-ophthalmology topics like general surgery, like obstetrics and gynecology, like pediatrics, then you want a UK fellowship exam. And then the only option that you have now is the ICO exam. If you want to start in the internship year, you don't have any other option, because only the ICO exam that will enable you to apply for it during the internship year. And the same thing applies if you want a certificate, or you don't want to travel and you want to start by an international qualification in ophthalmology, then you only have the ICO exam. If you are now a resident and want the fast track, the most rapid pathway to apply for GMC registration, so you already have some experience in ophthalmology, the best will be the Royal College of Ophthalmologists exams, because you already started your career. you will have like 1 or 2 years of experience, and this experience will be an asset for the FRC of London, because the Part A requires that it doesn't require any experience in terms of eligibility, but it will require experience in terms of passing the exam, because it will ask like in investigations and require that you have some knowledge about investigations in that you acquire in the first 2 years of residency. But it doesn't require any experience in terms of eligibility. So basically you can finish it in 1 year. However, it will be unlikely that you will clear the FRC of London if you don't have the enough experience, because it is a tough exams, or it has tough exams, and it is unlikely that you already pass them if you have less than 4 years of experience. So, but you can start from them in the residency, or you can start with the FRC of Part 1, and then consider if you want to complete for the FRC of then, or you can shift to FRCS Glasgow or FRCS Edinburgh. If you already completed the 4 or 5 years experience eligibility criteria required by the FRCS Glasgow or Edinburgh. So this will be the fastest, but maybe it's not the effort saving, because it will this exams require a lot of study and a lot of practice, and to pass, because they considered the hardest. So if you are not in a hurry, you want like to change or to pass your local exams in your country and then travel to the UK, and you will be already will fulfill the experience criteria required by the FRCS Glasgow or Edinburgh, then I will recommend to apply for the FRCS Glasgow, either through the ICO route or directly through the Part 2 Glasgow. This will be the most convenient, and we have a lot of past candidates experience from the FRCS Glasgow. There is a common saying that says, if you want to be a fellow, you have to follow. You have to follow the advices of the previous candidates, and we have a lot of them in the Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow. So this exam is like an open book. We know everything about it. So if you want to increase your chances about passing the exam, Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow will be the most convenient for you. The same thing, but if you want just a certificate, let's say that you only need the title, or you only need to have to be affiliated to an international body that is very reputable, and so the choice will be, or the most convenient for you will be the membership of Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh, just the membership. So it will be the easiest, only 2 parts, Part A and Part B, and you will have only the certificate, but it will not enable you to work in the UK. If you have more experience and you are now a middle grade or a specialist, then the fastest route will be the Royal College of Ophthalmologists of London again, because now you are increasing your experience. You are considering to go to the UK to compete for middle grade jobs like clinical fellow, like specialty doctors, and also you may consider applying for higher grade jobs like locum consultant, or applying for the Article 14 or the Caesar pathway, which will enable you to be a permanent, to apply for permanent consultant jobs in the UK. And one of the criteria, one of the eligibility criteria, or one of the requirements for the Article 14 or the Caesar pathway is to have the FRC of London. So this will be the fastest, but again, you should consider that this will be the hardest exams. So if you want to, it will need some decent experience, and it will, and also some parts of this exam, as I discussed in the Road to UK Ophthalmology lecture, like the Part 2, require that you are familiar with the NHS system and how does this work, or how things work in the NHS in the UK, because this is an exit exam which is expected for trainees in the UK to pass in order to pursue consultant posts and to be consultants. So you should be at the level of the consultant in the UK in order to pass this exam. But if you are want the most reliable and the most convenient and the easiest way, it will be again the Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow. And now you are growing your experience and you are in good position to pass this exam easily, and you already have fulfilled the eligibility criteria in terms of the 4 to 5 years of experience. If you want just a certificate to for your practice or for your clinical skills or for your clinical knowledge or for your reputation or to be affiliated to an international body, then FRCS Glasgow will be suitable. Because if you are now have enough experience, I will not recommend the Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh membership, because you already a specialist, you already have enough experience, you can pass it with a dedicated study. And you may change your mind in the future. You may think that you want to travel, you may want to go to the UK. So FRCS Glasgow will be the best. Finally, if you are a consultant, what will be the most rapid and the most fast pathway? You won't believe it. It will be the same like if you are a house officer. It will be the PLAP exam. Because when you are a consultant, you have enough experience, or you have extensive experience, publications, the surgical skills, the clinical skills, that when you are applying for jobs in the UK, you will be considered even though that you don't have FRCS, or even though if you don't have FRC of London, because your experience will make the interviewer forgive you from these kinds of qualifications, or because at the end of the day, the qualification is just a matter of applying for GMC registration, but it will not control the job selection very much. So if you are in a hurry, you can just complete the PLAB exam in 1 year, and you are on your way to the UK, apply for jobs. But in this case, you will not be able to apply for Article 14 or permanent consultant post after you finish the Article 14 criteria. But if you are seriously considering that you want to apply for permanent consultant post, you want to be a permanent consultant in the UK, and you feel that your experience will not you are getting more experience than the junior level or middle grade jobs, so you want to be a permanent consultant in the UK, so the best will be the Royal College of Ophthalmologists exam. As it will, you have enough experience, you can maybe clear it in 1 year, and you can, after you clear it, you can apply for jobs in the UK through GMC registration, and you start your journey through completing the competencies of the Royal College of Ophthalmology of the Article 14 or the Caesar pathway. And by the way, the Royal College of Ophthalmologists certificate is just one eligibility criteria, or one box. You tick one box from the around 1,000 tick boxes from the or 1,000 paper from the file that you should apply with to the GMC in order to apply on the specialist register in the UK and be eligible for consultant permanent posts. If you just want a certificate and you don't have aspiration to travel to the UK or work in the UK, you just increase your reputation, you just want to be affiliated to international body, then I recommend to you the FRCS Glasgow. It will be the easiest, and let me just share you with something, that when you are a consultant and when you are like deeply immersed in a subspecialty, it will make you like difficult to revise the other specialties. Like for example, if you have been a strabismus consultant for like 20 years and now you are applying for the FRCS or FRC of the exam, and you are asked to examine cornea case or asked to examine an oculoplastics case, and vice versa. It will be a little bit difficult for you because you are no longer a general ophthalmologist. So it will be a wise and safe option to choose the easiest Viva and the easiest exam in the Viva and oral, or the Viva and OSCE, and instead, so you consider the Royal College of Surgeons of Glasgow instead of the Royal College of Ophthalmologists of London. So these are a summary of which fellowship to choose according to your current scenario or your current situation. So my advice for you is that you start immediately and don't postpone your journey, because as you can see that changes happen all the time. You can find that there is a rapid pace of changes and that affect all the Royal College of Fellowship, all Royal College exams or all fellowship exams. So the sooner the better. The sooner you will like. For those who had the applied for the ICO during the era of collaboration, have been entitled with membership. Now this is no longer existing. So as you can see that the things are changing all the time. So and also your personal circumstances are also changing. Like if you are now free, the next year you might get busier. So and you may like abandon the idea altogether, and you are just compromising your future. You are compromising your career. So try to make steps toward whatever exams. Like just keep moving forward, and have faith that that whenever you are still moving forward, or you are applying for exams and you are passing, doing progress in your career, things will getting more clear. Like let me take an example for those who already like compressed themselves and they were very dedicated in their study, applying for the ICO exams one after another, basic after clinical, after advanced 115, then advanced 180. They caught the opportunity. They catch the opportunity to be member of Royal College of Surgeons of Edinburgh and be exempted from the written part of Part C. And now the only exam they have left is the Viva and the OSCE of FRCS Edinburgh. So you see that waiting is not on your side. Waiting is not a very favorable thing here. So as you are keeping moving, we are also keeping moving as iCourses. So in iCourses we have been honored to present courses that will cover all fellowship exams from basic to advanced in all fellowship, different kinds of fellowships. So we started in 2014 by ICO Basic Sciences and Optics, which will cover the ICO curriculum, the FRCS Edinburgh, all the FRCS Edinburgh curriculum, the FRCS Glasgow, and the FRC Off. Then we give the MR, the old Part B clinical exam for the MRCS Edinburgh, and then the collaboration happened, and then we give the ICO clinical and advanced 115, and also the advanced 180. And also we also delivered online courses for the we have workshop for the refraction certificate of the Royal College of Ophthalmologists of London, so to practice retinoscopy and other refraction skills. And also we delivered clinical exams for clinical examination skills and Viva and OSCE to how to approach cases in the clinical final exam. And the only thing that was remaining is the problem-solving course, or so the problem-solving, it witnessed a lot of changes in the previous years in the format, and I'm very happy to announce that we are now doing it. The FRCS problem-solving Glasgow is now announced officially, so we will start the FRCS problem-solving course. This will be an interactive online live course that will be conducted twice weekly, and this exam or this course will be on 20 sessions starting immediately after 2 weeks, and will be conducted over the next two months. And registration is open for it now, and you can find a link in the description below the video for applying for the free orientation session, which will be conducted on Saturday, next Saturday. So please attend it, and also you will find all information regarding the FRCS problem solving course, so that we are now consider that this course is done, and we are very happy that as I told you, that we are the only academy that will cover all postgraduate UK ophthalmology exams from basic to advanced, so that we are supporting you through your career from start to the end until you get certified. Thank you very much for your attention, and I hope that you find this lecture useful, and it will enlighten your pathway as you are going through the different UK fellowship exams. And we are always here for you. If you have any questions, please let me know. And I wish you all the best of luck and all best of wishes, and we'll see you in the next orientation for the FRCS problem course. Thank you.